again. I forgot the topic that I was going to talk about earlier, but it popped up in my mind, and I'm going to share that with you. And that's don't complain if you can't lead a woman. I see a lot of guys that they are afraid to get in a serious relationship, and you know what I'm saying, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to rush anything. I get it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be in a relationship. You don't have to be engaged. You don't have to be married. That's cool. But the only reason why I wanted to make this video is because I'm a happily married man, right? I'm happily married. I have no complaints. It's great. And I'm not just making that shit up. It's great. But see, the thing is, the reason why it's great is because I will say the biggest thing is me taking my time, understanding myself, and knowing what it means to be a leader. You have to understand, I was in the Marine Corps for 10 years, so I had no choice but to learn leadership. You know, when you get thrown in leadership positions at a young age, at a low rank, you start to understand how people think. You start to understand the psychology of why people do the things they do. And once you understand that, you can apply that to anything in life, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's being a parent. When you understand true leadership, that will trickle down and help you in any other area of your life, right? So me, for example, I took my time because I made sure I knew what I wanted, number one. And number two, only fools rush in. I'm not going to rush into a situation or a relationship or a marriage if I'm not sure this is the woman that I see long term. This is the woman that I want to be my wife. This is the woman that I want to have a child with. And the biggest reason that I decided to go ahead and take it serious, because you have to understand, I've been dating since I was 15. I'm 39, right? I've had a lot of experience when it comes to dating, talking to women, traveling around the world, all that stuff. And so I understood and understand a lot about women just based on my experiences and the things that I've learned, not just women in my hometown, but women from all around the world. You have to understand that. So for me, I knew what I wanted and I was unapologetic about what I wanted. And until that right woman came along, I was dating. I was single. And I get it. Some of you guys want to be single forever. That's cool. Some of you guys, want to be in a relationship. Some of you guys want to be married. For me, my biggest thing is I wanted to continue my legacy, my bloodline, and my lineage. So guess what? Got married, had a son. It was the best thing ever. I cannot complain about it at all. But the thing that I don't like is when some individuals, I'm not going to name anybody specific because this is not a roast channel or nothing like that. I'm just talking to my younger guys that if you see somebody that's unhappy in their relationship or their marriage, or they struggle with this or struggle with that, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10 is because they didn't have their shit together before they even got into a relationship. And when you don't have your shit together before you get into a relationship, guess what? Things fall apart. You blame the woman, you blame everybody else except for yourself, but you don't take accountability and responsibility for yourself. You don't look in the mirror and say, hey, look, that was my fault. Maybe my leadership was poor. Maybe I lied when I first met her. Maybe I didn't know what I wanted and I just rushed in because I wanted the sex. Maybe it was just the looks. And see, you young guys have to understand that when you listen to people that are men that say relationships are bad, marriage is bad, hey, I get it. You may end up with the wrong woman if you don't take your time to get to know the woman. If you don't know anything about a woman, it can be challenging. I get it. And when it comes to the legalities, when you get married, you don't want to get a divorce because child support, alimony, I get all that. But you have to understand there's so many things in place that you can do that prevent that. And it all starts with who you are before you even start talking to women. And that trickles down to everything else. It may sound crazy. You may, oh, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm telling you, if I was not happily married, I wouldn't even have this channel. The only reason why I have this channel is because 2 things. I want to make sure that I help younger men prevent the frustrations, the heartaches, the confusion, all the shit the guys get into relationships. They end up witnessing that, experiencing that, and then their life falls apart. My thing is I want to help to prevent that. And it all starts with you being yourself, getting to know yourself, becoming more aware, changing your psychology to where you do mature and you grow into a man that not just attracts a woman, but gets respect from women. And the other thing is I have a son, I have nephews, I have younger men that look up to me. And that's just me as a leader. Like I said earlier, I was in the Marine Corps for 10 years. And being a leader, we need more men that are actually successful in marriages, relationships, to actually make content about the beauty of that. We have guys that make content about finances, cars, all this other stuff. But my question is, if your relationship is great, if your marriage is great, why not create content and help the younger men that struggle when they get into the relationships or when they get married? And see, the reason why I said that you have to have leadership is because leadership, it helps everything. But if you can't lead yourself, and that's usually what happens with men that get into relationships, they rush it and they blame the woman, they blame society, they blame everything else, it's because they didn't know how to lead themselves. They didn't know themselves, because you can't lead something you don't know, right? So if you don't know yourself, you don't take care of yourself, you don't love yourself, how can you lead yourself? And how can that develop into you leading a woman, leading a relationship? It can't. It's always going to fail. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead a woman, you can't lead a relationship, your relationship is always going to fail. I'm telling you that now. So my biggest thing is learn how to lead. You start by learning how to lead yourself, not letting society lead you, not letting unhappy, miserable men that are in relationships or marriages lead you, not letting the woman lead you, but leading your fucking self. You have to lead yourself. And that's the biggest detriment I think that we have in society, is that a lot of these guys are not leading themselves, and they expect to lead a woman. They expect everything to work out perfectly, but it's not going to work out perfectly if you can't lead, if you're not willing to lead. And it's not the easiest thing, I will say that. It's not the easiest thing leading yourself. When you're aware and you know where you're slipping, or you know where you need to improve, and you look in that mirror and you say, hey, you're fucking up right here, you're fucking up right there, what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to complain, or are you going to take action? And that's my biggest thing. And I was talking to my wife about this earlier, and I'm like, hey, look, I get that some guys just want to be single, and I don't have nothing wrong with that at all. There's no, my nephews, right? I want you to be single, dating, having fun as long as possible. Same thing with my son, because once you get into a marriage, you want to commit to that woman, but until then, have fun. Don't rush into it. But what I'm saying is understand that don't make excuses for not being in a relationship because of other men failing, because you're not the other man. You know what I mean? We could both watch the same movie, right? But we will see different things, and we will look at each other and say, hey, look, you sure you was watching the same movie as me? Yeah, you're watching the same movie, but you see the world through your own experiences and your own lenses. So when you see a guy that, he's like, oh man, don't get no serious relationship with a woman, it's the worst thing ever, they'll do you this and do you that, it's because you're not leading. It all connects. When you take your time, you get to understand. Here's a better example for my car guys, right? This is a really good example, I think. So if you say, for instance, you see a nice car, let's say if it's a Lamborghini. You see a Lamborghini, you like it, it's perfect. You like the way the engine starts, you like the way the exhaust sounds, you like all that, right? It's a stick shift. But the thing is, you never driven a sports car. You don't know how to drive a stick shift or a manual. So you get into the vehicle, you drive off, and it starts to stall. It cuts out because you don't know how to drive a manual. Or say, for instance, you get a little bit, you're like, okay, I can kind of get it. And then you drive off, and then you crash. and you start to blame the manufacturer. You says, you know what? Don't get no Lamborghini because they wreck. They stall off on you. Is it the car's fault? Is it the manufacturer's fault? Or is it your fault because you didn't take the time to actually see what type of car this is? Oh, it's a sports car. It's going to take off a little bit faster than I expect. Oh, it takes premium gasoline. Oh, it's a stick shift. Oh, I need to take my time and slow it down. Maybe take the car to an open parking lot, and actually learn how to drive the vehicle before I just get in and take off just because I think it looks cool. And that's the thing that happens. You get a woman, you see her, she looks attractive. Maybe the sex is good, everything is good, but you rush into it. You didn't take your time, but things fall apart and you start blaming the woman. And I'm not, this channel isn't pandering to women. I want you to understand that. Let's get that one thing clear. But I want you to understand that men don't blame things outside of them for their mishaps, excuse me. Men don't blame things outside of themselves for that. You know what? They take accountability and they take responsibility. They learn and they take action. They don't complain. They don't make excuses. So that's my thing, is I want you men that are listening to this, I want you to start taking responsibility. Be accountable. Start understanding leadership. Start leading yourself. If you know you got to get up in the morning and you got to be at work at a certain time, start getting up early. Go for that walk. Get some fresh air. Get some sunlight. And then if you're in a position at your job or your career, wherever you're at, start taking initiative. Start doing things without somebody telling you. It's the simple things. And once you understand how leadership works and you really solidify it, it's a lot easier for you to actually lead women and lead a relationship. But I'm telling you, that's what's missing. It may sound crazy, but I'm telling you, it's all leadership. And I don't want to make this long-winded, and maybe this is not a best example, but this is the best example I can think of. And you guys are younger, so maybe it'll make sense to you. Do you hear a pimp complaining about he can't lead his woman? And if he can't lead his woman, what happens? She goes to the next pimp, right? She gets chose by the next pimp because he didn't know how to lead. If that's the case, right? But to have all these women that they can manage, lead, like I said, I don't condone to that. I'm just using that as an example. But manage, lead. Why is that? Because it's management. It's leadership skills. If you have a guy that is in a polygamous relationship and is successful, meaning more than one wife, how is he able to do that successfully? I guarantee you, one of the key elements is leadership. One of the key elements is leadership. And once you understand that and you apply leadership and you slow down and you really get to know a woman for who she is, first you get to know yourself, you get to know women, you get to understand dating and the dynamics of dating and relationships. When you actually get to understand all of that, everything will fall into place and you won't get the wrong woman. You'll actually attract the right woman, number one. And number two, your leadership. When you know how to lead and you got the right woman, you don't have to fall into the trap that a lot of these guys fall into, that complain about women and complain about everything else outside of them. So I hope you understood what I'm saying. I hope you got some value from it. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Share this with somebody you may think that could benefit from it. But until next time, I will talk to you later. Have a good one.